Okay, cool. So, first question that we have for you is what is your background and how did it lead you to working with Tuolumne River Trust?
Well, so I've always been very into nature and the environment. And so that kind of like led me to pursue a degree at Colorado State University. So I studied natural resources management. And I've kind of used my minors as like my direction that I've gone in since school. Like I had restoration, ecology, and global sustainability as minors. I've kind of discovered at this point like field is my favorite and restoration especially. So the job at TRT was perfect for me. I just kind of wanted to like live in California. So I'd originally discovered AmeriCorps, and I was doing some urban forestry out in the Bay Area for a little while. And I just decided to take another look at AmeriCorps, and that's how I discovered the whole SNAP program. But that was really helpful because it was actually like exactly what I needed, kind of like the job I was looking to get into.
Yeah, it's a great way to kind of get that initial experience. And maybe you can elaborate a little bit about the SNAP program for people who aren't familiar.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like just one main kind of umbrella of a nonprofit that covers all these other nonprofits. So they basically pick, my year they did 28 other employees just working across the Sierra Nevadas. And it's kind of cool because it's a combination of like education and environmental field positions. And so it's really cool because like it's just all kinds of people across the Sierras tackling all these issues, whether it's like an actual restoration or like field project or just doing kind of data or just like educating people. It's all really important components to, I think, getting like the environmental importance aspect across to everyone.
Yeah, it's a really, really cool program. And I think something that I've really enjoyed is meeting people across the state and kind of building that network and getting your foot in the door. Because I know so many snaps wind up being employed full time with the host site that
Oh
they're
yeah.
at. So it's like such a good way to just get your foot in the door.
Yeah, and that was really fun for me is that I got to stay with TRT past just my service term.
Yeah, because you were a tech for a while afterwards.
hmm Yeah, and that was like also really great because us being on grants, like I actually got to see the grant kind of from start to finish. And I think that was like really rewarding to be able to see also all the work we did like play out and what like it resulted in.
Yeah, that's huge. That's something that's so rewarding is when you actually get to
hmm
be there start to finish and see a project done and like all the work that you put into it kind of come to fruition.
Yeah, any of the like really labor heavy projects I actually really enjoyed. Like sometimes we were out there like throwing logs into like a like meadow ravine all day, you know, like sometimes it was just crazy or just planting trees all day or doing like a fire break. But I love that. It was so fun. And you just like work so hard and like coming home at the end of the day, like really dirty, but really like feeling like you did a hard day's work. Like, I don't know. I love that. It's my favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. And TRT is great for that because so much of the work they do is like boots on the ground and actually getting
Oh
stuff
yeah.
done. So, yeah,
hmm
that's huge. What part of the TRT mission spoke to you the most?
I think just their general like desire to like inform people like water is life, water is important, and look at all of these things it gives us. And I love that they have the three offices like Headwater, Central Valley, Bay Area, like just like you're along the whole watershed, you know. So it's really cool because it is literally a voice of each part. And for me, of course, doing the forest watershed health was the most like I thought most important because you know you can't if you don't have a healthy forest, those people in the Bay Area don't get healthy water. So I think it was just really cool that they had their three offices and like each one tackled different issues just because that's such a great like scope of the whole watershed too and like the individual ones. So I just love that. And like I think the fact that they go through so many ways to like teach people, like you can be on the water rafting or you can be volunteering, like every way that they inform and educate is also like an experience for you to like help and participate.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I haven't thought about that too much, but they really do kind of tackle like every realm of what it means
Mm-hmm.
to be a steward of the watershed, and that's so important. How would you say your time with TRT influenced your career trajectory?
It influenced it so much, mainly because like it was exactly what I want to be doing in my life, and I didn't fully know that until I did it, you know. Like now I for sure know restoration is like my forte. It's like what I want to be doing. Like I already knew I liked field, but that made me realize that so much more. I think also because they collaborate with so many people, and it's like public, private, nonprofit, like everyone. You just get such a great overview of all the ways you can work with others. I'm a very introverted person. I always kind of just wanted to like work alone in a forest. And now I'm like, oh, you have to work with other people. Like you get so much done. You have such an impact. It's so rewarding. And then like those people that volunteer with you, you know, they really feel like they're part of it too. And it's like you just connect so much more. Some of that too was just Seth. Like he saw my potential and he knew what I was like capable of. And so he put me in so many like projects where I could like really learn and grow. And it was like some things I didn't know that I was good at. And so that's a huge thing I take away is like now I know more about my own potential and my own capabilities. And so now I'm like more confident and inspired to do more because like I had a lot of great feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of piggybacking off of that, maybe you can elaborate on where you are now and what kind of work you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm a botanist right now with Denver Botanic Gardens, and it's also contracted with Bureau of Land Management. So we're doing basically building a huge seed library. It also partners with like a national seed project. It's called like Seeds of Success. So basically because of the wildfires mainly and just kind of general environmental issues that have been arising more and more in the last few years, a lot of Western states are also on this project. We don't want to lose our native species. So I'm targeting 30 native species and then getting a seed collection from them. So basically it'll result in a huge seed library. So then in restoration projects, you can like replant your natives. So similar to some of the seed projects we did with TRT.
What was your biggest takeaway from working with TRT?
I think a huge one was like project partnerships. Like with YSS, the Yosemite Stanislaus Solutions, like that was so cool to me to see all these organizations that may not agree or like all work in the same way, but they all kind of came together to be like, hey, we all need this forest and we all benefit from it. So we need to work together to like save it, but also still have our jobs and be a part of it. Because like I said, I kind of always wanted to like work alone, and then I realized like how much more you can get done with people.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's something that's kind of changing the world right now. Is before we were all working in our own silos, kind of doing our own things, and now we're understanding that we actually need to all come to the table and work together because there are a lot of big topics that need to be addressed, and it's taking everyone to come and maybe make some sacrifices on your end, but it's for the greater good, you know?
Yeah. And I think also like the collaboration within the organization, like between the three offices, because they're all working on very different projects, but it's all the same river. Mm-hmm. So I think that was cool too, to just see all of that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of what you were touching on earlier with like, we're up in the headwaters and the people out in the Bay Area are the ones that are receiving that water. So it's kind of connecting it all together and explaining like, this is why our forests matter, because you're drinking the water that comes from that area. Like you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.